Haunted Pines. Welcome to Haunted Pines, true and bizarre stories, including the paranormal, true crime, extraterrestrials, monsters, and more. I'm Nomar Slevik, and tonight's story takes us all the way to Cuba with a seemingly unsolved mystery. This is Mysterious Symptoms, the Havana Syndrome. Part 1. Strange Symptoms. It began quietly, almost imperceptibly, in December 2016. A CIA officer, newly arrived at the American Embassy in Havana, checked in with the health office complaining of a headache, nausea, and dizziness. At first, it was easy to dismiss as jet lag, stress, or the pressures of the job. But within days, 2 more officers reported the same symptoms, accompanied by a mysterious ringing or sensation of pressure in their heads, and nausea that seemed to come from nowhere. By early 2017, the reports multiplied. Dozens of diplomats, CIA officers, and their families were experiencing symptoms that medical experts struggled to explain. The victims spoke of strange noises in their homes or at their hotel rooms, even while walking down the streets of Havana. Some described high-pitched tones, almost like a whine or a hum. And others reported what they thought was a beam of sound pointed at them. One diplomat said it sounded like marbles rolling inside a funnel. It started to make her feel crazy. At first, many believed this was a Cuban plot, the work of intelligence agents testing a sonic or microwave weapon. But the Cuban government, led by Raul and Alejandro Castro at the time, denied any involvement. U.S. investigators were left puzzled. If the Cubans weren't responsible, who was? They questioned if it could have been another foreign power, like Russia or China. Or perhaps it was something entirely unknown. Part 2. More victims. Audrey Lee, a State Department official, never thought she would be affected. Unlike her colleagues, she hadn't heard any sounds and convinced herself she was not one of the victims. But after months of debilitating headaches, dizziness, sleepless nights, and worsening cognitive problems, she finally came forward. She found herself added to a growing list of Americans and Canadians seeking medical attention. Doctors at the University of Miami, led by Michael Hoffer, began examining victims. Tests revealed that these were not ordinary ailments. Some patients had damage to their inner ears, affecting balance and hearing. Others experienced brain injuries with no apparent physical trauma, a condition eerily reminiscent of concussion symptoms, but without any blow to the head. One officer described waking up at night, feeling waves of pressure in her head. Her ears rang violently, and she was unable to focus. Another said that the moment the sound hit, it felt like her brain had been scrambled and she was left disoriented for hours. These weren't isolated experiences. The incidents seemed to target Americans with precision. Part 3. The investigation deepens. By February 2017, U.S. intelligence agencies were actively investigating the incidents. The CIA, the NSA, the State Department, they were all involved. But they operated in silos. Diplomats worried about the CIA's secrecy. Intelligence officers worried about leaks. Meanwhile, medical teams were struggling to make sense of injuries that seemed to defy explanation. Some officials speculated that the incidents were caused by a sonic weapon, while others explored the possibility of directed microwave energy. James Giordano, a neuroweapons specialist, theorized that radio frequency pulses could have caused cavitation in the inner ear or tiny strokes in the brain. But there was no smoking gun. Surveillance footage, hotel inspections, and environmental tests yielded nothing conclusive. The victims themselves became the focus of intense testing. Audrey Lee was flown to the University of Pennsylvania, where specialists performed multiple tests. They conducted MRI scans and measured her cognitive function. She struggled through every test, yet her results were sometimes inconclusive. This pattern would be repeated with nearly every victim. Part 4. The global spread. By mid-2018, similar cases appeared far beyond Havana. In China, an American consulate employee began experiencing the same symptoms: nausea, dizziness, ringing in the ears, headaches, and cognitive problems. Because of this, the U.S. evacuated 15 Americans from the consulate. And with that, the mystery was no longer confined to Cuba. Scientists tried to analyze recordings of the noises. 2 researchers concluded the sounds could be attributed to crickets. They were incredibly loud, persistent, and capable of reaching internal spaces like homes and hotel rooms. But if crickets were the cause, why were only specific people affected? And why weren't other residents nearby sickened as well? The explanation didn't really fit. Part 5. The political fallout. The incidents quickly escalated into a diplomatic crisis. In October 2017, the U.S. removed 60% of its personnel from Havana and expelled 15 Cuban diplomats from Washington. Embassy operations in Havana were drastically reduced. CIA operations became vulnerable. Those remaining in Cuba lived in tightly controlled neighborhoods. They were far from the areas where people were affected, and they made sure to keep an eye out for anything out of the ordinary. This crisis, this syndrome, reshaped the relationship between the US and Cuba. Anti-Cuba sentiment gained influence. and policies hardened. Meanwhile, victims like Audrey Lee continued to suffer. After months of treatment, she returned to work, only to find that many symptoms had returned. Persistent headaches, more dizziness, and a growing uncertainty about her overall health. Part 6. Theories multiply. As investigations dragged on, investigators, researchers, and as the info got out into the public, everyday people were providing their own theories. Some officials believed the incidents were the result of stress, environmental factors, or even a psychological contagion. Others insisted that a sophisticated targeted weapon was to blame, perhaps operated by an unknown foreign power. But in 2020, a report from the National Academies of Sciences suggested that radio frequency energy could plausibly explain the symptoms. Then, in 2023, a U.S. intelligence community assessment concluded that many cases were likely tied to previous injuries, stress, or environmental concerns of the individuals. Lastly, in 2024, studies from the National Institutes of Health showed no clinical signs or brain imaging consistent with the symptoms. However, advocates and attorneys representing the victims argued that evidence may be hidden behind government classification, leaving the mystery unsolved. Part 7. A Cold War of the Mind. The Havana Syndrome remains one of the strangest diplomatic incidents of the 21st century. What began as strange noises in Havana escalated into widespread medical concern, including international tension and ongoing debates about the nature of the injuries. The victims' experiences of dizziness, headaches, cognitive impairments, and more have yet to be adequately explained. Whether a weapon, stress, environmental factors, or something else entirely, the Havana Syndrome represents a new frontier in global tension. This is where diplomacy and intelligence collide in terrifying and predictable ways. For those affected, there may never be a definitive explanation. For the rest of us, it's a haunting reminder that even in the modern world, danger can strike silently and without warning. What are your thoughts? Have you experienced similar symptoms, or maybe someone you know? Feel free to reach out and let us know at Haunted Pines Pod on Instagram, or email us at hauntedpinespod@gmail.com. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, please share the Haunted Pines podcast with someone who loves true tales and the unexplained. You can find other strange stories in my books, Humanoid Encounters, Granite Skies, UFOs over Maine, and my latest work, In the Pines. Check the show notes for links. Until next time, always be aware of your surroundings, for the night belongs to the ghosts. I'm Nomar Slevik, and this is Haunted Pines.